So the Detroit Lions have made just a flurry of roster moves, and some of which they are letting players go, and other ones where they're bringing players back. So in this article, we're going to talk about 3 or 4 players that they're letting go and 2 or 3 players that they're bringing back. So if you've already seen it, who's the one player that you want back the most on this roster? You're like, I need him back. That's a free agent. Leave it in the comments. Who is the one player you want back? And then how about this? Let's do a comment of what's the one player you don't want coming back? Who's the one guy where you're like, nope, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. All right. And we'll see if any of those match in the moves the Lions made. Now, these are smaller moves, but I think they can have kind of a big tell, and they can show us kind of what's going on. So let's look at those moves. And before we do that, let me just ask, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. We're making a push for 20,000. Why 20,000? Because we want 20,000. Sounds cool. And if you've been watching our movies for a while, watch them. If you're a first-time viewer of this channel, wait till the end of the video. See if you actually like it. And then maybe give us a subscribe or watch a couple more in the future. All right, first player they're letting go of is Chase Lucas. He was, I think, a 6th or 7th round pick a couple years ago. Did not play much. He was mostly a special teamer. I know that special teams are important to this regime, but maybe they've just decided that Chase Lucas simply will not be able to contribute as a defensive back. I remember when we drafted him out of Arizona State, I didn't understand it. He was already an older player. His athletic score was not great. He was an okay college player. Like, there was nothing that checked the box that made you wonder, like, hey, maybe this guy can just figure it out. The only thing he had going for him was I think he played 5 years in college, and so maybe he could come in as a ready-made product. In this article, they have talked about a couple of other things. And we'll talk about Emmanuel Mosley later if I have time in this video. All right, but they did not tender contracts to Lucas, as I said before, Khalil Dorsey, and Jerry Jacobs. That is everybody in the secondary that's a backup, basically, except Gilmore, right? They haven't gotten rid of him yet or anything like that. But I just wanted to show you who the guys are that they're getting rid of. Khalil Dorsey. All right, this year played a total of 50 coverage snaps, 80 total snaps, 80 snaps, and had a coverage grade of 51.9. He did nothing. He didn't do anything, and he wasn't even the worst for us. All right, Jerry Jacobs played a ton of coverage snaps, 480. He played a lot of snaps. He was able to bring in 3 interceptions, which is good. But overall, he gave up a ton of big plays as well. He gave up a lot of stuff. On 71 targets, he gave up 47 receptions. He had a coverage grade of 55.4. I think what we love about him is his run defense, his pass rush. Those are the things he could do. But as a cornerback, you need to be able to defend the pass. Like, that's the big thing that you have to be able to do. So these are the guys that the Lions are getting rid of already, early on. How do you feel about it? Like, they're not offering them that. Now, is it possible to still bring these guys back? Yes, at a cheaper rate, but they're not tendering them. So all signs point to see you later, Lucas, Dorsey, and Jacobs. In other words, those guys that we were hoping could eventually become good corner or even started the year as a starting corner, they're all gone. Now let's go back to the guys who we are bringing back. The first one I was kind of surprised by. It is running back Zonovan Knight. If you remember, we brought him in from the Jets. We lost him to injury, and they are bringing him back. He was scheduled to be an exclusive rights free agent, so it's unclear if he's signing the tender or if he's signing a new contract. But here's what he had to say. Tomorrow should be a great day, with the signing emoji. In other words, he's getting something signed. All right? I don't have any problem with this as a 3rd or 4th running back. Like, if you're going to carry 4 running backs, he's a guy who can kind of do a little bit of it all. He's not terrible in any way, shape, or form. He's a below average receiving back, but in 14 targets, he had 13 catches for 100 yards. Like, that's pretty darn good. All right, that was in 22 with the Jets. He didn't have much with us because he got hurt and because he has talent ahead of him. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because, quite frankly, he just didn't have enough. I mean, he played almost nothing for us. 3 carries and 1 target. Okay? But he took advantage of those. You can stick almost any running back behind this line and be just fine. So I have no problem with this one. In fact, I would even make the argument that I like that they're bringing him back. He must be a good locker room guy, and that's good to go. All right? Now, this one was an MLive article that I read where they were trying to do a little clickbait where they say Detroit Lions tender veteran tight end in restricted free agency. They put Sam Laporta up here. It says it's Brock Wright. It's not, but it is Brock Wright. They're bringing him back according to Over the Cap. All right? So this is what they're doing with him, and I'm going to read this to you. The Lions are using the right of first refusal / original round tender, according to the report. So that means they're bringing Brock Wright back, if nothing else happens, on a $3 million contract, 2.985 to be exact. None of it is guaranteed. So if he doesn't make the team, they could cut him, and they lose no money. All right? He can sign that tender, or he can seek a better deal somewhere else in free agency, and Detroit has the ability to match that offer. All right? I don't know if he's going to be able to get a lot more or not. Now, there's no draft compensation with this because he signed with us as an undrafted free agent. Here's what we know Brock Wright as. He is a tight end who kind of does all the right things, right? We like him for that. He seems like a Detroit guy. He's willing to do the dirty work. He's willing to block in the run game. He, when healthy, can show a decent top speed, decent for a tight end, but he's not going to wow you with his athletic ability. He's just going to be a lunch pail guy that shows up every single week. So you see here the 3 guys we're getting rid of. We're bringing 2 back. Again, these are depth guys, but it's exactly what Brad Holmes is talking about. You develop guys, and then you re-sign them, and they become the core to your team. Now, to end this video, I want to talk about one, and I think Chris already did a video about this, but I want to hear all of your opinions on this. The Lions are re-signing cornerback Emmanuel Mosley to a 1-year contract. If you don't remember who he was, we signed him last year in free agency. He was with the 49ers. He had some success there, but he was coming off a season where he tore his ACL in like week 6, I think it was, 5 or 6. And then he was making his way back. He had a setback. Then he gets on the field, and I want to say the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th play that he played, he tore his other ACL. Now, I'm one that says I'm actually happy it was the other ACL because now he has 2 surgically repaired ACLs that might be even better than they were before because apparently his ACLs were weak. All right, so we're bringing him back on a 1-year contract. Do you like it or not? I'm going to tell you why I like it. We have the room in our free agency this year to bring in a guy like this. If he's healthy, he has the ability to be a valuable starter. He has the skills to be a starting corner in this league. All right. In 2022, the last time we saw him play, he had over 200 coverage snaps. He had a coverage grade of 73.5, which would have been the best on the team last year. And other than Branch, of course, like for corners, and an overall grade of 71. This is a guy who does a good job. He has okay size, okay speed. He's not like this. He's not going to wow you or anything like that. But I just kind of like who he is. And what I like even more about it is that he was one of those guys, even while hurt, on a 1-year contract, he was with the team all the time. He was with them all the time. He was a great locker room guy. And then we go back to he's an undrafted free agent out of Tennessee with an off-the-chart RAS score, relative athletic score. Look at this guy, 4.4 40, good 20 and 10 yard split, nails the vertical broad and short shuttle. Those are great for corners, and he has good enough size. Like, this is a guy that if he's able to put it together, if he's able to stay healthy, he could become a quality starter in this league. I like the move. All right, hope you like it. Flurry of moves. Again, we want to be your go-to place. If you've watched the video to here and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do it. Why not? We'd love to have you part of the community, give you reminders of when our videos are coming up. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.